Welcome to creating charts in Oracle Endeca Information Discovery Studio using data from multiple views. If you are new to Studio, then you should probably start with the Getting Started with OEID 3.1 screencast series. Before viewing this video, you should know how to create applications and data sets, how to add components to a Studio page, and the basic configuration for a regular chart component. In this video, I'll briefly discuss how refinement rules allow you to link attributes from different datasets. Studio uses datasets to create base views. I'll then show you how to configure a chart to display data from more than one view, and show how Studio uses refinement rules to help select the chart dimensions. This video is intended for users who create applications using multiple related datasets and who want to be able to show data from those datasets on a single chart. Why use multiview charts? Multiview charts allow you to directly compare metric values from different datasets, such as in this example where a chart shows both sales numbers and tweet numbers. Otherwise, bringing these metrics together would require you to create additional custom views. To create a multiview chart, the views must have dimensions with the same data type and values. Refinement rules allow a refinement from one dataset to be replicated for an attribute in a different dataset. For example, when you refine the sales date by a specific date range, the tweet date is also refined by that date range. Multiview charts can use refinement rules to help determine whether two views should be used for the same chart. For attributes to be linked by a refinement rule, they must have the same data type, be all single value or all multi-value, and have the same refinement behavior. When you add a dataset to an application, Studio can automatically create refinement rules between attributes that have the same name and that meet the other refinement rule requirements. For this video, we've created an application that uses data from a fictitious bicycle manufacturer. The data is made up of 4 datasets which contain sales records, product information, employee information, and reseller information. The sales records reflect information from the other datasets. The datasets are linked using refinement rules. On the refinement rules page for the application, you can see that the data includes refinement rules for several attributes, including product category and product subcategory. Let's go to the application to see one of these refinement rules in action. On this page, the sales page, the Available Refinements component shows the available refinements for sales. We also have 2 selected refinements components, one for sales and one for products. Let's refine the sales data by the road bikes product subcategory. Because of the refinement rule, you can see that Studio has automatically added refinements to both the sales data and the product data. When you remove the refinement from one dataset, the linked refinement also is removed. When we configure our multi-view chart, you will see how this refinement rule helps with the configuration. Let's configure the default chart on the sales page to display both product and sales data. On the Chart Edit view, to indicate that you want to use multiple views, check the Enable Charting Across Multiple Views checkbox. The radio buttons for each view change to checkboxes. The sales view is already selected. To add the products view to the chart, I'll check the products checkbox. When you are using multiple views, Studio displays the list of selected views at the top of the Edit view. On the other tabs, to remove a selected view from the chart, click its delete icon. You can use multiple views for any type of chart. I'll leave the default chart type a basic bar chart. On the Chart Configuration tab, the Attributes list contains the available attributes from all of the selected views. Each attribute name is followed by the name of the view it belongs to. You can filter the list to only include attributes from a specific view. For the Chart Dimension list, each dimension is actually a dimension group. For each dimension group, you must select a dimension from each view. Let's start by adding our metrics. I'll filter the list to only show the sales attributes. I'm selecting the unit price metric from sales and setting the aggregation to average. Now I'll filter the list to only show product attributes. I'm selecting the list price metric and adding it to the same metric group as the unit price metric. When you add both metrics to the same metric group, they're displayed at the same time on the chart. Because these are both currency values, I'll configure the metric group so that the values for both metrics are displayed as currencies. You can also display attributes from different views as separate metrics and allow end users to switch between them. I'll also add the list price and unit price metrics as separate available metrics for the chart. For the dimension, I want to use the product subcategory. I'll start by dragging the sales product subcategory name dimension from the sales view. When I expand the dimension group, you can see that Studio has automatically added the product subcategory name dimension from the products view. This is because these attributes are linked by a refinement rule. If a refinement rule isn't defined, you can also manually add the dimensions to the dimension group. For dimension groups, you can customize the display name. By default, the chart uses the name of the first dimension that you added. I'm going to update the display name to be product subcategory, which works for both views. Let's save the chart and exit the Edit view. On the End User view, the default chart metric is the combination of both the unit price metric from sales and the list price metric from products. You can see on the chart that the list price is generally higher than the unit price, and often by about the same percentage. You can also see where product subcategory is missing one of the values. I can also switch to one of the individual metrics that I added. When I change to a metric from a different view, Studio switches seamlessly, changing automatically to the correct dimension for that view. Now I'll refine by the component's product category in the sales data. Because of the refinement rule for that attribute, Studio adds refinements for both the sales and product data. Note that if your dimensions are not connected by a refinement rule, then only the one view is affected. The chart is also updated accordingly, with the correct subcategories shown for each metric. So to recap, refinement rules allow you to link refinements to attributes from different data sets. Refinement rules can help with the configuration of multiview charts. For a multiview chart, you can display metrics from different views at the same time, or allow users to switch between individual metrics. Each dimension is actually a dimension group, with a dimension from each view. For more information on refinement rules and multiview charts, see the Studio User's Guide.